UFC 316. These are the full card predictions and the betting breakdown. Looking forward to talking about each of the matchups on this card. So make sure you guys smash the like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Turn the post notifications on and make sure you share the video too. And also note, I'll be live for the entire card Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern time. Don't miss the fight, companion. And let's get into the first fight of the night. We have Khaos Williams versus Andreas Gustafsson. Short notice edition. Gustafsson was supposed to fight this past Saturday. He was a part of the Lock City Parlay, which got canceled, and that's irritating. But regardless, let's talk about this fight here. I am picking Andreas Gustafsson to beat Khaos Williams. I was confident in his relentless pressure onslaught last week. Now, I will say UFC Apex is better for that relentless pressure-based style, but I still think it's effective against some of these guys that are more towards the mid tier at 170. Khaos Williams, he like teeters on the line of top 25. He's not towards the level of the top 15 at all, but he's also not bottom of the barrel. The thing that I like about Gustafsson is the ability to withstand big shots, close distance, and absolutely smother and punch in the clinch and dirty box hard and slowly but surely wear down opponents. I understand Khaos Williams has power. Khaos is kind of a wild knockout puncher, bit of a herky-jerky boxing style to his game. You wouldn't look at Khaos Williams' hands and be like, oh, he's a tactician. He's more of kind of a ballistic brawler, but has some boxing technique in his arsenal. Gustafsson is not as good from mid or long range, but I don't anticipate Gustafsson to be sitting around just brawling from the outside. I think he's going to look to get in Khaos Williams' face, to make this fight uncomfortable for Khaos, and to consistently press forward. I'm not sold on Khaos Williams really being on some type of comeback tear or anything like that. I know he's won 2 out of his last 3, and the loss was against Bonfim, which is kind of forgivable, but he was getting taken down left and right. His striking is dangerous for sure. Khaos can crack, but you can bully him. He fights a lot of strikers, right? And they tend to play his game. And he's even had bad moments against mid guys. Like Rolando Bedoya was way too close with him. Now you can chalk it up to an off night, or you can be like, Rolando Bedoya fight. And then the Carlston Harris fight, he chins an old man Carlston Harris, who then got knocked out by a washed Ponzinibbio afterwards. I think Khaos Williams has been overrated for a long time. I think he's a power hitter, and I definitely respect the knockout ability. Andreas Gustafsson on the opposite side is going to have to absorb some shots. If he ends up not having a chin on him, he could go flat out, violently. But if he's as durable as I think he is, because I really think this is the type of guy that can take a savage beating, kind of like the toughness of some of the old school brawlers where they're going to absorb big shots and they're just going to fire thunder back. But he's not just going to sit in the pocket, right, without grabbing some type of control-based position in the clinch. He likes to dirty box. He doesn't just like to box in close. So I think he can negate the Khaos Williams chaos, the chaotic savagery. And I think that Andreas Gustafsson brings forward pressure, clinches up Khaos Williams, threatens with takedown. I don't know how successful he'll be with control on the ground, but I think just getting in Khaos Williams' face and throwing the flow off a bit for Khaos, Gustafsson will have that close range success. And I think he's going to have to wear on Khaos Williams a bit. I think he's going to have to get him tired. If we're in the mid-range striking, Khaos lugging huge power shots out there, live to land. But on the flip side, Andreas Gustafsson is a wild man brawler too. And I'm not under the assumption that Khaos Williams couldn't be hurt in this fight with a big punch from Gustafsson. It's not like he can't throw heat with his hands. He has power. And Khaos Williams is the type of guy that throws caution to the wind and blitzes with big hooks and throws these power shots with his head sitting right there. Gustafsson could very easily fire a big shot back and catch Khaos Williams. I think this fight is destined for some type of violence. I think there is a possibility of that TKO for Gustafsson. I definitely think there's a possibility that he lands some takedowns, that he wrestles a bit. And I think that in a brawl with Khaos Williams, It could be good for Gustafsson that this is a short notice fill-in. Why? Chaos Williams was initially scheduled to fight tactical kickboxer Uros Medic. You are now going a contrary style to the opponent that he was preparing for. You're dealing with a savage in Gustafsson who's going to be relentless and a Greco-Roman wrestling base. And I got to go with the dirty boxing. I've been confident in Gustafsson for a damn reason. And I'll be damned myself if I come here and pick against a guy that I had high confidence in last week to put a savage performance on that looks in incredible physical condition. I think he's going to put a savage performance on here, and I think he'll be ready to go, especially with not having to cut weight 2 weeks in a row. 170, but the fight last week, they were scheduling it for a catch weight 180, and then the fight got pulled, I think early enough into the weight cutting window where Gustafsson should be fine to cut down to 170, make weight, and handle business against Chaos Williams. He's hungry for a win, and I think he's got more upside to Chaos, even though, he's an older prospect. As far as the odds for the fight, plus 190, there's too much confidence in Chaos Williams' one-punch power. I think Gustafsson could knock him out with one punch. Plus 190, Gustafsson, Chaos Williams, minus 225. I think thunderous power on both sides. Under 1.5 plus 117. I'd probably rather go over, to be honest, but both would be sweaty as fuck because I expect a violent ass fight. I think Chaos could get clubbed with something big, as could Gustafsson. But in a battle of chins, I really think Andreas Gustafsson's going to be able to endure. If the nickname is Bane, I mean, shit, I'm expecting him to take everything. We've seen it before. He's taken big shots. He's bled violent blood, taken, too many shots to the head maybe in fights against some opposition, but I'm expecting improvements, and I think the UFC debut is going to be a good one for him. He's hungry to fight. He's salivating at the bit to get in the damn cage. We've seen Chaos Williams look flat in fights and dealing with a pressure-based savage. I'm going with the pressure-based savage. Underdog pick to start the card. I'm going Andreas Gustafsson for the W, and let's keep running. Next fight, we got Markel Mederos versus Mark Choinski. Shit, man. So let me tell you, I did some deep diving on Mark. Yeah, I botched his name. Mark Choinski, I think it is. Markel Mederos is my pick, but I want to talk about Choinski for a second because I don't think this is an easy walk in the park for Markel Mederos, and there's a handful of reasons why. One of them is that Choinski's got a good wrestling base, solid takedown game, trains at Rufus Sport, was the Anthony Pettis fighting championship champion, but he's also a prodigy out of the gym there. Favorable matchups, yes, for sure. Just to keep it a buck, like his outside of the UFC opposition is fine, but it's not great. Now, not saying that Mederos was just fighting straight killers outside of the UFC, but he went through the Contender Series route, earned his spot, and then you got Choinski stepping in, short notice fill-in opportunity here. Looking at the fights for him, though, real quick, I want to mention opposition. 8-7. But he did run through this guy on the ground like he should have, a guy who's 8-7. Guy was really just a boxer. And then Simone in that fight was actually kind of back and forth. He got double leg taken down in round number 1. Kind of competitive striking moments, but Choinski finished out. Good gas tank, relentless pressure, some decent shots on the feet. So where I'm getting at, though, is against the opposition, 2-8, 7 months ago, he's fighting a 2-8 guy. Come on. Markel Mederos is 2-0 in the UFC. The worry for me, though, with Markel Mederos, obviously the betting odds are wide. We'll get to that in a second. But the worry is actually that Markel was ill last week and he pulled out of the fight against Balajioki because of it. Said he was unable to train, wasn't feeling well. But now, quick turnaround for him. You guys know I like Markel Mederos. He's been on the channel for the Lunchtime Live before. He's in the damn live chat sometimes. He's a fucking savage, all right? Shout out my guy Markel. But that's not why I'm picking him. Not why. I appreciate him always showing love, but that's not why I'm picking him. I'm picking him because he's got the skills to win this fight. His grappling defense should hold up. The ability to deal with a hard-nosed wrestler, I think will be okay. We're not in 2011 anymore. I think he'll be okay. Markel Mederos trains alongside, Benson Henderson. He's a prospect of him, or a protege, I should say. And on the opposite side, you got Choinski with that Rufus Sport team, kind of representing, Anthony Pettis in some capacity with that APFC belt. I think that Markel Mederos is going to look clean. He's going to avenge his coach. He's avenging Benson Henderson against Anthony Pettis, bro. Doing it again. How many times are we going to do it? This time, the talents from the gyms are facing off. I think Markel's the better striker. Markel's grappling defense is good enough. Markel's picks his shots pretty well. His grappling defense is actually sound. Just Austin Hubbard jumped his back pretty well. But his actual hand fighting and like ability to defend takedowns is fine. And he's got decent knees in the clinch. He's got good low kicks. He's got a good striking rhythm. I like Markel Mederos' accuracy. And I think he underperformed against Hubbard too. I feel like he's due for a better fight, but obviously a little bit of the worries of the intangibles. One last thing, though, I love about this matchup, it's not at the apex, because with Choinski, he would love to have less space so he could just close that gap on you. We got a full-size octagon. I think Mederos with a movement-based style, the striking should look good. The grappling defense should hold up. And I think Markel Mederos wins against a hard-nosed guy, though. Mark the Shark, I respect his game. He's definitely gritty, not easy to deal with the strong wrestling. But Markel's got a solid fight IQ, 2-0 in the UFC. And I think he pulls through this one. I really do. Now, minus 275 is a bit wide. I would have loved to seen minus 180, but we don't get nice things like that. Minus 200 at open, to be fair. I actually like those odds. But yeah, they're a lot wider now. Choinski plus 235. I think Mederos should win. I'm feeling decision. I know Mederos had that big striking moment against Isakov on Contender Series, but since then he's been very tactical, very patient. Minus 175 for the over 2.5. Bro, I talk overs just because on this show, but we're really getting into the damn prop side of things later on in the week. Could go over, could not. I'll see how I feel on Wednesday. But right now, I'll tell you, I think Markel Mederos for a win, a decision win, to fend off the grappling onslaught. He may get taken down, but I think he'll be okay. I don't think Choinski has the jiu-jitsu to like run through Mederos or anything like that. And I feel like Markel's striking is a lot better. Choinski hasn't faced anybody good, hasn't faced anybody that can stop takedowns and strike well, at least, at a high level. And I think that the opposition jump will be too much for him. And I'm saying Markel Mederos to 3-0 in the UFC. And I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. And maybe they rebook that Balagioki fight. Who knows if he goes out there and wins this one. But yeah, Mederos, W, the official pick. Let's keep running. Next fight on the card, we have Salkilld versus Yanal Ashmouz. I'm going with Salkilld to beat Ashmouz. I have to. Ashmouz, he's a tough customer, though. I mean, he's real short he's 5', they ain't 5'9". 5'9", my ass, bro. He looks like he's 5'7". But listed at 5'9", we all know the height sometimes are BS. He's a pretty quick kickboxer with like that karate-based style. His leg kicks are nice. His spinning kicks are nice. His movement's pretty good. He beat Trevor Peek last time, and he took him down 9 freaking times. Turned into a wrestler in that fight, which is smart, though, against a chaotic striker like Peek, and Peek couldn't stop the takedowns. But Ashmouz normally good kickboxing, sharp kickboxing, I'd say. Not necessarily, though, with the upper half. His hands are all right, kind of more wild shots, big barrages of punches. Yes, you'll say, oh, but he knocked out your boy Sam Patterson. Okay, well, Sam Patterson should have never fought at 55. He got caught by a punch, is what it is. I don't think Ashmouz is getting past the crafty prospect in Salkilld. He's got too much talent. Salkilld has very good jiu-jitsu skills, highly knowledgeable and effective on the mat. Transitional speed, submission threats, multifaceted submission threats, even attacks from bottom. Ability to reverse positions. Striking looks pretty good. Striking is getting better. Anshu Jubli knockout, bro. You're a GOAT if you're knocking out Anshu Jubli. It's over, bro. Pick all day. One punch, though, against Anshu. Granted, I thought the stoppage kind of sucked, though, because Anshu was waking up. I'm like, can you give India a chance for fuck's sake? Come on. Regardless, I think Salkilld was about to chin him a second time if the fight continued. Ultimately, I think that Salkilld is too skillful, and also with the physicality advantage, 6 foot to supposedly 5'9" to 5'7" probably. But look at the reach. 68 versus 75. That 7-inch reach advantage, I think, is a big factor, especially because Ashmouz likes to use his legs, but he'll be throwing out kicks, and Salkilld can still punch him in the face. On top of that, Salkild's submission threat is definitely live. I think he has the power to maybe like sting an Ashmouz and then get to a dominant grappling position. Maybe finish the show with the sub. Ashmouz is a tough customer, though. Is he getting submitted? Method of victory is tough because Salkild's skillful, but he's still young. I lean towards the talented Salkilld, to get a hard-fought decision win over, Ashmouz. I definitely think Ashmouz is in the fight. I don't think the odds reflect the reality of Ashmouz is going to be tough in moments, but Salkilld better hands, to be fair, could catch him with a big shot and maybe drop him with a straight, because I do respect him going distance with Duncan, who's got some heavy hands and sub threats. But I guess it's Duncan. Is Salkilld of that caliber, though? We haven't seen it, right? Salkild's wins are Gage Young, who just lost to Elvin Elder, but looked tough, ultimately still an L, and that was his boy, and then Anshu Jubli win. I'll pick Salkilld. I think he will have more weapons, but I think, Ashmouz hits hard and definitely could crack Salkilld on the feet. You could definitely rip him with some dangerous kicks, but the length of Salkilld is a big factor. And if they do engage in grappling, I think the long limbs of Salkilld, it gives him a massive advantage and the more so of a chance to maybe lock something up with those long limbs. But Ashmouz is like so short and stocky that I'm leaning decision. I'll go Salkilld on the cards officially. Yeah, I don't know. Ashmouz, as much as I don't think he's a great grappler, he's explosive, he's strong. I think he could like transition out of spots. And even if Salkilld has his back, I think he could fight the hands. He's got the short neck and the big traps. Yeah, I'll say Salkilld judges scorecards. It would be sick to see a finish, but I'll say judges scorecards. Then you're looking at minus 500. My God. Minus 500 is wide as hell. This isn't a minus 500 odds fight to me, though. I think it's minus 200. What are the odds here? At minus 220 at open, that makes more sense to me. But yeah, Salkilld should win. He's a good prospect. I don't think Ashmouz is knocking him out, and I definitely don't think Ashmouz is subbing him. Normally, it's strikes, and I don't think he's outpointing him. So Salkilld with way more methods to win, right? Submission threat, knockout threat, decision. With Ashmouz, if he was to win, really, I could only see him just landing a thunderous shot, dropping Salkilld, and I don't see that. I'm going to say Salkilld wins. As far as the over, let's see. Over under Thunder, bro. Minus 170 for over 2.5. I'm picking Salkilld by a decision, but definitely a violent style. And with these young prospects, they can make crazy jumps in short amounts of time. And since that Contender Series win, it's been 8 months. Knocked out Jubli 3 months ago. Now getting back in the cage here. Thunderous performance could happen. We'll find out. Either way, pick Salkilld. I think he takes out, Ashmouz here. Let's keep running up the card. Azamat Murzakanov versus Brenison Ribeiro. I am picking Azamat Murzakanov to win for sure here. I like Brenison Ribeiro normally, though, as like a fun light heavyweight to watch brawl. I'm going to be curious to see him fight like a Johnny Walker. Am I looking to feed him to Johnny Walker? Yes, I am. Ribeiro's got good power straights, and I'd say he's relatively dangerous. Explosive, has jiu-jitsu, brings takedown threats. Not that great, though. I mean, Kyle Machado split decision win. I get it, though. Last time he fucked up Nurgajai pretty bad. But Nurgajai turned out to be a complete fraud. Like, Azamat Murzakanov is what Nurgajai would dream to be. Azamat can strike, man. He beat Dustin Jacoby, bro. Like, you look at Jacoby last week, all shit. I've thought of maybe him being off. Nah, I was right after the weigh-ins, man. He was in great shape, maybe the best shape ever, and he looked nasty. And Murzakanov has a win over him. Knockout puncher, southpaw. Yes, he's got the T-Rex arm, 71.5-inch reach, but he's used to dealing with the range disadvantage. It's not like Brenison Ribeiro is something that new for Azamat Murzakanov. Brenison Ribeiro is long and he's got some power, but he's not this tactical point fighting kickboxer who manages distance like a damn champion. He doesn't manage distance like Dustin Jacoby, and Murzakanov beat him, had moments on the feet, had good shots that he landed, won the fight. He has looked like a little fatigued come round 3. It's, maybe a worry, but he also has third round knockouts and late second round KOs. And Murzakanov definitely carries a lot of power, and Ribeiro's chin is still to be questioned a bit. Bing Yang Zhang chinned him bad. He's been knocked out outside of the UFC. And Gadzi Asulov decision loss. Gadzi Asulov turned out to really suck. And then going out and winning against Kyle Machado on a split decision. Those don't equal good performances against Azamat Murzakanov, regardless of Murzakanov looking like a fat, blown-up welterweight. I'm going with Murzakanov for the win. He's fighting out of New Jersey, too, and the card's in Jersey, bro. Come on. Jersey Russian Savage. Azamat is going to deliver a sick KO in this fight. His hands are smooth. His kicking's actually really good, too. He's got nice power, and I like his hooks a lot. The southpaw stance, I see him closing distance on Ribeiro and just cracking him and wobbling him. Knockout Murzakanov first, my first round. It could be second round because Murzakanov has technical ability and Ribeiro's his most dangerous early. But even then, I think Ribeiro walks into a big shot. I'm going Murzakanov by KO, and I think round 1 KO. Let's see. The odds for Murzakanov suck. Minus 600. There's no fun with the odds, man. Fucking breakdown of the fight. A lot of fun. Seeing these betting odds. Shiesty. Plus 425 for Brinson Ribeiro. The pick is Azamat Murzakanov. Of course. Yeah. Under 1.5, minus 155. Murzakanov KO. Probably going to be 2-1. Murzakanov KO round 1. You probably have it at plus 110. Fuck it. I do think he's getting a first round knockout. I think Ribeiro's going to come out throwing hard shots, get caught by the more slick guy in the pocket, and just fucking flatten. He's almost too tall for his own good in this matchup. That neck's too long. That chin's too available to be hit. And I think Azamat Murzakanov makes it 15-0. He is the dark horse of the division. The worry with him as he moves up the ranks, what happens when somebody survives the striking barrage in the gas tank. But yeah, I don't think Brinson Ribeiro is the guy to check Azamat Murzakanov. 15-0 incoming. First round knockout. Azamat Murzakanov dust Brinson Ribeiro in violent fashion. Next fight on the card. Zhu Sang-yu versus Jeka Saragih. Yo, Sang-yu, this guy's got aura. I'm picking him for sure. I'm telling you right now, if he can have a good win, like a highlight reel, I actually think this guy could be like an emerging star for the UFC. He's got really slick striking and good timing, but he's also got strong grappling. He fought in Korean Zombies promotion in that most recent Looking for a Fight episode. That's how he earned the contract. My God, the timing is sick, man. Watched also a little more of him. Does have some wrestling in the arsenal. Does have a 3-round gas tank. Definitely relentless in search of getting up from subpar positions. Like his opponent was like on top of him, fought back up to his feet, throwing big shots in the striking too. Doesn't quit on himself, definitely. Has a unique striking flow. There's like remnants of like a Conor McGregor striking flow in there. Obviously, it's not Conor McGregor 2.0 or anything like that, but he has his own thing. He's one to watch, though. He's a precise kickboxer that's got clean power. And I think he's really accurate and technically sound with good explosiveness, with good athleticism, and seemingly capable grappling too. 8-0, 31. So the skill set is great, but he is 31 years of age. But Jeka Saragih is not fraud checking him. I am not picking a Jeka Saragih that has lost to Anshu Jubli and Weston Wilson. Arguably, probably not, but somewhat arguably, two of the worst guys on the roster. Yeah. A win against Lucas, no will, Alexander. Bro, Alexander's got skills, but he's got no will. You think I'm joking around? Look at the Bogdan Grad fight. He breaks. Jeka Saragih was losing, caught him with a big shot, knocked him out. Yes, Saragih punches people hard when he swings wildly from his hip. He's got some like explosive barrages of big shots, but the guy has sus grappling, and I think he's going to get destroyed by Zhu Sang-yu. I think if you're a used team, you're like, okay, yeah, you can strike with this guy, but it's not a bad idea to take him down and just go towards the path of least resistance, take his back, strangle him. Because I do think Zhu Sang-yu could go out there and win by submission. I like the chance of a KO if he chooses to engage in striking, though. It's just, I know that the option of grappling is going to be so tempting because Weston Wilson destroyed Saragih on the ground. And I think Zhu Sang-yu is going to have takedown ability and a threat of big ground and pound. And I think a threat of submissions. It's just the striking of his, like if he decides, yo, I'm striking here and we're not going to engage in grappling and he knocks Saragih out, I think you could go viral on social media. I'm telling you, he's got the sleeve tat. He's got aura for sure. I'm a fan already. He's just got to go out there and perform. And he's got like only 400 followers on Instagram right now. So I'm telling you, Zhu Sang-yu is one to watch. If you can go out there and perform, we got an interesting fighter on the roster to keep an eye on. Good performances here, obviously known for power, but he's got that win by submission. He's got a rear naked choke, and Jeka Saragih is submittable. Zhu Sang-yu inside distance. If he chooses to strike, it's a knockout. But of course, you're dealing with a wild man in Saragih. So path of least resistance, take Saragih down, neutralize the threat, and just sub him up, which is a possibility. Minus 510 for Ju Sang Yu. Saragih at plus 385. I do think this fight ends inside of the distance. Of course, it's a 1.5. Under 1.5 plus 130. I would rather under 2.5. I do think Ju Sang Yu, if it's striking, he's going to look violent by KO. If it's on the ground, he can get a win by sub. I will tell you, though, as much as I'm talking about path of least resistance, in the back of my mind, though, I'm like, Ju Sang Yu wants to show some striking in his debut, introduce himself properly. And if he goes out there and delivers a knockout like he did on Road to UFC, stock jumps a ton. So I'm going to go officially Ju Sang Yu by KO. But if he chooses to grapple, don't be shocked if he wins by submission either. But yeah, Jeka Saragih, probably not UFC level. And I think he's going to get ran over in this fight. Next fight on the card, heavyweights going after it. We have Serghei Spivac versus Waldo Cortes-Acosta. I got to go Serghei Spivac. I have to. I have to go Serghei Spivac. The grappling of Spivac is really good. And Waldo has never faced a grappler like Spivac. He hasn't fought a Marcin Tybura. He never fought an Alexander Romanov. The best grappler that he fought, who is it? Who is it? Who's the best grappler he fought? Thomas Peterson, outside of the UFC, back in 2022, and he knocked him out in the 3rd round. Got threatened with wrestling a little bit in that fight, but ultimately was able to persevere with a ballistic pressure onslaught from Peterson and then eventually knock him out. But it's been strikers galore. The best grappler in the UFC is Rogerio de Lima. And he got his leg chewed apart there. It's kind of like the Ludovic Klein-Gamrot fight last week. When I was on Gamrot, I said, we haven't seen Ludovic show it against any wrestler that he can stop these takedowns. Waldo's fought nobody that brings a grappling threat like Spivac. Spivac has good throws, good trips, good takedowns, and when he is on top, he is an absolute smotherer. And he's got good arm triangles, rear naked chokes. I mean, damn, got Marcin in the arm bar from bottom. I picked him in that fight. I've picked Spivac a fair amount over the years. And I think Serghei Spivac on the ground has a massive advantage against Where's Waldo. Even though I know for a fact Waldo's the better striker, it's like, what happens if Spivac's in his face, backs him up, gets in his chest, drags him down? What happens when Waldo's on his back? Arm triangle by Spivac, ground and pound, positional dominance and control. Yes, the Jailton Almeida fight went sideways, but he still got Jailton down. Jailton's a monster on the ground. Much better than Waldo. Waldo's boxing is good. Former pro boxer. Definitely has power in his hands. But he's not like crazy knockout power where he's chinning people left and right. He's not like a Jairzinho Rosenstruik even. I was going to say Ngannou, but I'm like, let me chill. He's got some pop, but like, he beat Arlovsky on a competitive decision when Dontel Mays had chinned Arlovsky, you know? He beat Rebellis to Spain using grappling the whole time. So Waldo can definitely grapple offensively, but it's Rebellis to Spain. Spivac submits him in 30 seconds. Knocked out Ryan Spann in a back-and-forth striking fight. Spann, though, does not have the wrestling threat like a Spivac, and he's a former light heavyweight, came up in weight and ran into a powerful guy and got knocked out. Waldo cracks for sure. His overhand's dangerous. He throws it like a fucking softball. But I think Serghei Spivac gets in his face. I think Spivac grapples. To beat a Spivac, I feel like you have to be able to do it all. Look at his recent losses. Jailton Almeida does it all. Now, granted, you could say, oh, well, Cyril Gane sucks at grappling. Yeah, against the best in the world. Against the best of the best. Spivac, he's top 10. Don't get it twisted. He's not top 5. And Where's Waldo's top 15. But I'm not sure he's top 10. When I watch Where's Waldo fight, I'm not like, top 10. I'm like, yeah, he can box, though. He can throw hard punches. I question every other area. And he hasn't fought a guy that can take him to those vulnerable spots. And then we'd find out. If he goes out there and stops takedowns from Spivac and knocks him out, okay, Where's Waldo? Legit contender to watch. But I think Serghei Spivac gets him down, beats him up, and submits him. I'm going Serghei Spivac on the ground. The superior grappling should be enough. Take into consideration, too, younger, more UFC experience. Yes, the striking is not good. I don't think that the striking will ever be good for Serghei Spivac. But I think it's enough to engage in grappling. Minus 121 for Spivac. At open, he was minus 150. So some love on Where's Waldo. Waldo plus 101. I'm going with Spivac to get him down. Spivac to get him down and probably get him out of there. Of course, Under is -130. Huh. I think we are going under 2.5. I think this fight ends inside of the distance. Either side you're on, you're probably going finish. I'm going to say Serghei Spivac with takedowns, control, and good jiu-jitsu skills submits Where's Waldo, because I just simply don't know his level. Not only when he's, getting taken down, but what happens when he's there, right? I think he's getting taken down for sure. But especially like his game from bottom, happens if his back's taken. I don't really know anything about his jiu-jitsu arsenal or really, his wrestling game against anybody notable. Like I said, the Thomas Peterson fights years ago. I know for a fact Serghei Spivac can take down guys that can grapple. And I know he can submit Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belts like Marcin Tybura. He definitely can submit Waldo. I'm going Serghei Spivac sub, and good performance incoming, I think. Kind of, breathe some light back into that Serghei Spivac heavyweight career. And I think he handles business here. We're going with Spivac for the W. Let's keep running. Next fight on the card. We got the ladies going after it. It's Ariane Lipski da Silva versus Cong Wang. I'm going with Cong Wang to win. I know she lost to Gabriela Fernandez, and it's easy to, sit on that one and use it to justify a Lipski pick here. But think about Lipski, though. It's not like she goes out there and chins girls often. I mean, yeah, she fucked up Casey O'Neill and won by submission. That was cool. Split decision with Gatto, the JJ Aldrich fight. Like, really look at it, though. Be real. Priscilla Cachoeira knocked her out. She beat Mandy Bohm on a decision. I get it. It's a while ago. Karini Silva out-grappled her. Jazz Davicius out-grappled her. To be fair, this is a striking fight for Lipski da Silva when her worst nightmare matchups tend to be grapplers, but also doesn't typically fight opposition that is a higher caliber of Muay Thai / kickboxing. The background of Lipski is like national level, amateur level, like high class Muay Thai. But Cong Wang beat Valentina Shevchenko, fought as a professional kickboxer. She's a quality striker with good reflexes, good timing. She picks her shots nicely. She's got nasty kicks and movement and good combinations too. I think the Gabriela Fernandez fight was one of those fights, man. Just this powerful Brazilian southpaw throws a big shot and it lands right in the chin. Not dealing with the southpaw here in Lipski da Silva. I think she can deal with the way Lipski likes to throw the hooks on the inside. Lipski does have good kicks, though, and she's sharp. Lipski's got dangerous Muay Thai. Her clinch works solid, but I know for a fact Cong Wang is tactical, technical, and skillful on the feet, too. And I think that Cong Wang can outstrike Ariane Lipski. Where that Lipski's advantage may come in would be if Lipski gets a hold of Cong Wang and drags her to the ground. But the takedown defense is not really in question of Cong Wang. It's not like Gabriela Fernandez was throwing her around, wrestling her up. Gabriela Fernandez landed a beautiful left straight that dropped Cong Wang, then took her back, choked her out. So Ariane Lipski to get her down using just, takedowns against the cage, that's not her strength. Ariane Lipski's not a strong wrestler type. I mean, I remember when Lipski was known as a horrible grappler, when Antonina Shevchenko crucifixed her and ground and pounded her out. Yeah, she's gotten better and beat Casey O'Neill and whatnot, but she's getting out grappled recently. Now she's going to turn into a savage grappler here against Cong Wang all of a sudden. I don't see it. I think it's a striking fight. I think Lipski has moments. I think there's competitive exchanges. I think Cong Wang is sharper. I think Cong Wang is quicker. I think her kicks are cleaner to the legs. And I think that she's a little bit more tight with the way that she throws her shots, whereas Lipski a little more fat on her shots. I'll say the more fine-tuned kickboxer that reached a higher level in pure striking should get the win in an MMA fight, in a battle like this, where both really are primarily strikers and there's not a huge grappling threat on either side. You can look at Lipski and say, oh, well, she's definitely been doing jiu-jitsu. I see on her Instagram. She's training those takedowns. It's not the bread and butter of her game. And I don't think all of a sudden Cong Wang just can't stop a takedown. Like she's a clueless grappler. I don't think so. I think her game's pretty well versed. And I think she does get a win here. Now, minus 360, the fuck. Minus 360, we're just sitting here bullshitting. I get the temptation at plus 295. It's not crazy to say, fuck it, value side Lipski, because she shouldn't be this big of an underdog at open plus 330. But I do think Cong Wang is better than her. Throw the odds out the window and you look at what both fighters have presented. Like, okay, the Fernandez lost, but yeah, southpaw, tricky, explosive striking style, more unorthodox. Lipski's more tactical. Even though she's got brawling moments and big explosive, hook combinations, still it's more technically proficient and sound. Gabriela Fernandez is more of a wild woman, and she's a southpaw. I think that Kong Wang wins the decision at minus 360. Yeah, overinflated line, pretty shitty line to be real. But this is a fight that Kong Wang can go out, win, and I think look relatively good in. If Lipski somehow goes out there and chokes her out, then I guess we know the Wang gang is forever dead. But I got faith that Kong Wang can do relatively well against a girl like Lipski that's like, bottom top 20, near top 15. I think stylistically it's a good matchup for her. I'm going Kong Wang. I think decision. Sharper and more technical kickboxing with enough defensive grappling to get the job done against Ariane Lipski. Let's keep running. Next fight is our featured prelim of the night. We have Bruno Silva versus Joshua Van. Getting giddy over here with the excitement. I'm a big Joshua Van believer. I'm going with Joshua Van as the pick. I think he's really damn good. Boxing skills of Joshua Van, unusual. Why? Because he's 23 years old and he's a bit of a body snatcher with headshots. He mixes it up to the body and head. This is some evolutionary shit. And we've seen more guys that can combination punch and then rip the body and rip the head in recent years with a Topuria, with a Jack Della, with, a Joshua Van. And it's definitely a wrinkle that, a lot of the new generation guys are adding into their arsenal. Of course, with the evolution of the sport, you're witnessing it here. Joshua Van too. Skillful striking, nasty calf kicks, good movement. Actually, he's got the fighter blood, man. You think about Myanmar. If you don't know what Lethwei is, that's their martial art, the Burmese boxing. They wear like just the wraps and they throw headbutts and shit. And it's like similar to Muay Thai, but there's no decisions. It's knockout or it's a draw if it goes distance. So he's got the blood of a savage in him. And you can see the natural ability to strike. He really flows well on the feet with multi-shot combos. He's got really good movement. His kicks to the legs are sound. His defensive striking is pretty good. He's got solid head movement. He seems to have good eyes for the game. Bruno Silva, at one point, I will say I had some faith in, but out for over a year and then came back against Cody Durden, ended up landing a big knockout shot, but he was getting touched up a bit on the feet there. And then obviously last time out, Manel Cop actually he fucked him up, but the stoppage was a little bullshit because there was a low shot and then a barrage of big punches and the ref never called a timeout. But ultimately, Bruno was losing that fight handily. He was getting clearly outstruck. Bruno has a bit of that like karate-esque striking. You see it with like Patricio Pitbull, a little bit with Henry Cejudo, but Bruno Silva is not to that caliber. Not saying that he is. Bruno's got decent ability on the feet. He definitely still got some power in his hooks, and he showed it against Durden. He's dangerous. But as far as in combination, Joshua Van's a lot better. Leg kicks, Van's better. Bruno Silva on the ground, I mean, he's okay. When I think of Bruno Silva in this modern era, though, I don't think of the grappling. It's like, yeah, you subbed up Tyson Nam over 2 years ago, but it's Tyson Nam towards the end of his career, too. He fucked up JP Bays 4 years ago. I feel bad for JP Bays. Off subject, man. I don't think Bruno Silva at 35 has the same ability to grapple, too. Like, take Joshua Van down. That maybe be the game plan. Strike a bit and then time takedowns. He's not taking him down. Joshua Van's got nasty hips and he's got nasty boxing combos. And he just dealt with one of the most talented up-and-coming prospects as far as grappling goes in Ray Saruya. Granted, though, Ray Saruya's win over Carlos Hernandez kind of looking uglier and uglier as Park last week got that first round sub. So maybe Saruya's not as good as we thought, but Van beat his ass striking. Cody Durden, he looked sharp against Cody Durden. Big boxing combinations, and Durden's toughness just held him in the fight. And Durden's an unbeaten pro boxer, too. And Durden was just on the show Friday. Shout out to him. Edgar Shirez, He had to overcome early, but Joshua Van should be able to outwork Bruno over a hard 3-round fight. I don't think that Van's finishing him. I don't think Van's getting him out of there early. I think that Bruno Silva's tough. But Joshua is going to rip some big body shots, rip some punches to the head. The speed advantage will be evident. The sharper boxing will be evident. And I think that Joshua Van can win the fight against Bruno Silva. And I'll go towards a decision win for him. And I'm talking like as if this is a competitive fight because it is. But then you look at the betting odds and it's like minus 550. I got to say, a handful of fights on these prelims, I strongly disagree with just how wide these odds are. I don't think they should be this wide. I really don't. I see the fights as more competitive than that. But I think that the right guy is the favorite here in Joshua Van. And if the books know for sure, they put it at minus 550 because maybe they're seeing exactly what I'm seeing. The odds of Bruno Silva counter shot KO really low. The odds of Bruno Silva comeback submission really low. The odds of him dominating Van with wrestling really low. But the chances of Joshua Van boxing Silva's face off really high. Joshua Van should win, and I think it's a boxing heavy display or kickboxing heavy, you could say. Then as far as the over here, you're looking at over 2.5 minus 155. Probably over 2.5 with a Van fight. And it's not like Bruno's got no chin. I say Joshua Van decision win. They go over 2.5. It's a good back and forth fight though, and I think it's an exciting flyweight matchup for sure. The badass prelim banger, and I think Joshua Van wins, and the stock keeps growing, man. I'm looking forward to it. Let's jump to the next fight, which is our main card opener. If you guys haven't yet, make sure you hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Make sure you subscribe. We got Mario Bautista versus Patchy Mix. I'm picking Patchy Mix. I guess at this point, I'm getting known as still a Bellator guy over here. I believe that he is somebody from Bellator that can have success in the UFC. And I get it. Patricio Pitbull got fucking handled by Yair. Michael Chandler, at the end of the day, came real late, as did Pitbull, to be fair. But Patchy Mix is primed at 31, same age as Mario Bautista. I get it. People look at that last fight. Oh, well, Magomedov gave him a really hard fight. It was a close decision. To be fair, though, he did beat Magomedov previously, and then Magomedov struck like a savage against him the last time out and looked really slick. And it's not like Magomedov is some can. Like, people that don't watch MMA outside of the UFC, if you don't see any of it, you will have a more narrow viewpoint of what exists. Magomedov fought Petr Yan twice and has a win over him. Okay, he's a skillful guy, and he was in Bellator doing well amongst the elites for years. And then you look at the Sergio Pettis fight. It's an impressive finish. Sergio's a skillful striker. Oh, well, he got cut from the UFC. Okay, he was a young kid in his 20s. Still became a Bellator champ. It did well against high-level guys. Rafael Stotts W, violent KO early 2 years ago. The submission of Magomedov, like I said. And then Kyoji Horiguchi W, which is actually, I think, a big deal because Horiguchi's really skilled and entering the UFC at 125 now after going back to Ryzen for a bit. Patchy Mix is good at wrestling. Patchy Mix has really tight gillies, nasty submission threats, long too. Kind of a mix of like a boxing-esque striking style, tight southpaw stance, good straight shots. Not super slick or elusive in striking, but skillful enough to land shots and then bring threats in the clinch, like the knee he showed against Stotts some time ago. And then on the ground, he is a submission threat for sure, but also has the ability to chain wrestle. He's a monstrous wrestler who has an evolved jiu-jitsu game as well. The submission threat, specifically the ghillie, is a gnarly technique that he has mastered and normally works. Against Magomedov this last time, no, it didn't. Now it's Mario Bautista. The thing I will give Mario Bautista credit on, guy's gritty. I mean, I went back and rewatched him versus Aldo, and he's sitting in there throwing heat. Yeah, Aldo was looking good in that fight, though, too. Aldo could have got the win. But Bautista never shied away from the fight, was tight in the pocket. Yes, he backed him up and held him up against the cage, and that's not going to work against Patchy Mix. But when I look at striking, I don't think Bautista is a dead man in the stand-up against Patchy. I think where Patchy has the edge is in close range, cage work, takedown threats, better wrestler, having some moments in striking. This is not an easy fight for Patchy Mix at all. Mario Bautista is one of the hardest matchups of his career because of the wrestling ability, defensively and offensively too, to be fair. Even the threat of takedowns on Patchy, but also the toughness factor and the sheer size of Bautista. Like, he's a, well-framed bantamweight. I think that Patchy Mix is going to have to overcome the physicality of Bautista, and we're going to really find out about the level of skill that he has. I anticipate it to be good enough. I think Patchy wins. I think he nabs some key takedowns. I think they scramble and Mix wins the scrambles. I think they strike a bit and Bautista lands some shots, but so does Patchy. I think Bautista looks to engage in the clinch and, back Patchy up against the cage and control him there. But I think Mix will have moments of reversals and maybe hitting some key takedowns, going for a ghillie at some point. I feel like it's going to be damn hard to finish the ghillie on Mario Bautista, though. This is a hellish debut for Patchy Mix, man. Like one of the most stylistically difficult tests for him as well, as far as his pro career is gone. Like Mario Bautista can do it all really well. He's not a one-dimensional striker. He's not a one-dimensional grappler. He's well-versed. He's gritty. He can wrestle. He can strike a bit. None of the things that he does are necessarily like, wow. Doesn't have much power. Doesn't have a crazy submission game. But he's got a good control game. I just think Patchy Mix brings a danger threat and should be able to meet and match and exceed the skills in most areas as, Mario Bautista has. I think Patchy could look good. And I think that he's going to come out hungry as well. That fight last time against Magomedov was rough, but Magomedov is also a really tricky southpaw. Bautista's more traditional. I think Mix could have striking moments too. He's a little sharper with his straights. I'm saying Patchy Mix by a decision, though. I'm not overlooking Mario. I recognize game for sure with Mario Bautista. But I think Patchy Mix can outwork him. And I think Patchy Mix can win his UFC debut and finally get a Bellator guy coming in off right, at least first time in a long time. First time in a while, especially after this Pitbull one, man. I say Patchy Mix decision, but Bautista, gamer for sure. Plus 145, Mario Bautista, minus 170 for Patchy Mix. I think those odds are fair. Mix has got to be the favorite. I mean, not the defending Bellator champion, but he's the final Bellator champion. I mean, he still technically would be, considered the sitting champion. The organization, was in existence and he hadn't gotten stripped yet. He's their final champ. And at bantamweight, if he went to PFL right now, he's killing everybody. UFC, though, matchups are rough. He has trained alongside Merab. I definitely know he's got the wrestling arsenal. But damn, bro, giving him Bautista, well, he stepped in on short notice, to be fair, but him taking this fight against Bautista, it's a big test. But I'll say Mix by decision, over 2.5, minus 170. Mix, minus 170. I think Patchy Mix gets it done in his UFC debut, and I'm excited to see some more from him. I like Patchy Mix, man, and I think he can win this one against a game Mario Bautista, but a guy that he can land good strikes on, he can threaten with submissions, and I do think he can out-wrestle. Patchy Mix, W incoming. Next fight on the card, welterweight banger, Vicente Luque versus Kevin Holland. Kind of a sleeper fight on the card, man. It's like, oh shit, this fight's here? I'm picking Kevin Holland to beat Vicente Luque. I am still not feeling like Vicente Luque is back. He had that brain bleed a while ago. I get it, he's young though, 33. Not so much age either. It's the fact he's taken a lot of shots. But it's also, we've seen his vulnerabilities, man. If you can put some pressure on him with the hands, if you don't let him control that pace, you can catch him with a big shot. You can put him down and out. And Kevin Holland's got good reflexes. Kevin Holland's a long striker with heavy hands. And it's not like Vicente Luque with this massive grappling advantage, this wrestling edge. Vicente Luque's got clean kickboxing for sure. And he's still tactical and skillful. But I think Kevin Holland could definitely strike well with a Vicente Luque. I think Holland could defend the takedowns coming at him. He showed it against Gunnar Nelson, who's a beastly grappler, and he landed big shots there. He seems to be finding his range once again. His boxing's on point. And I think Kevin Holland could catch Vicente Luque with something major in this fight here. Luque is coming off that nice win against Themba, but the Buckley knockout was vicious and violent. To be fair, though, Joaquin Buckley is an absolute certified savage. Beat RDA up. And then you have the Jeff Neal knockout loss. Went 5 against Bilal 3 years ago. I think Kevin Holland's a little sharper than him at this point. Luque's got more weapons because of the threat of kicks, too, to the legs. But I think with the speed disadvantage, with the reach disadvantage, without the threat of landing takedowns, I feel like Kevin Holland can end up putting on a good performance. It's like easy to discredit Holland. But you look at his fights, right? Like, okay, De Ritter lost. Oh, Rainier De Ritter's now on a savage roll, just beating Bo Nickel, and he's a giant middleweight. And now Holland's back down at welter. The Lidze fight, he gets injured. Oleg Jacek, he did get touched up a bit on the feet, but came back with a nice armbar. Lost to MVP. At the end of the day, MVP is a technical maestro in striking. And then the Gunnar Nelson W. I think he can beat the Silent Assassin. I think he can beat Luque. I think Luque looks sharp with his kicks to the legs, but I think Holland lands some big punches to the face. Luque's head movement is never like developed that much. I want to say he has no head movement. I'm not trying to make it like he's just a sitting duck to Kevin Holland's power shots. But I really think Vicente Luque, it's like he looked like a promising prospect after tough. And he did become one. It's just the whole game. I don't know. Something didn't evolve. I think the head movement's lacking. Very hittable with straight shots at this point. And I mean, if you look at the recent wins and you really think about it, it's like, okay, Themba Gorimbo's flawed. RDA's old as hell. Kevin Holland, year younger, long reach, knockout power, boxing chops, does have jiu-jitsu skill, and it's not like Luque's wrestling him up. I think Kevin Holland could win this one. I think he could land some big shots on the feet. Maybe stumble Vicente Luque at one point. I think Luque could still fire big shots back, and I think it could end up being a good back-and-forth 3-round fight. But I think Holland being faster, more effective with his strikes, the bigger guy, I think he's able to beat Vicente. And if Vicente is washed, which it hits everybody at different, 33 is mad young to be washed. But we could see Luque chinned again. I'm feeling like Holland is live for a KO at some point. Countershot KO, round 3, Luque crumbled. He's taking some damage, man. We've seen Luque in wars. Way back, we saw him in the Mike Perry war. And I think Kevin Holland goes out there and does fairly well against Vicente Luque. And another kind of get-back fight for Kevin Holland, too. I think the hands look sharp. Distance striking advantage. I don't think he's getting his legs chopped apart by Luque and falling over the leg kicks. And I think that we're going to see Kevin Holland land some good punch combinations. And if they do tie up, I don't think it's crazy to think Kevin Holland could win the clinch battles. I think it'd be more wild if Luque's dragging him to the ground with ease. I think that'd be crazy. I can't see that. I think Holland defends takedowns, strikes well, has moments, and I think he's live to knock Vicente Luque out. Odds for the fight? Vicente Luque plus 210. Big underdog status for Vicente Luque. Minus 250 for Holland. Holland goes from completely written off to now the faith is alive once again. We got a minus 250 Kevin Holland tag over here. But he definitely can catch Luque. He can definitely land a nice counter shot KO. I just think back to Luque getting hit a lot by Mike Perry and being willing to just engage in the pocket and brawl. Over 1.5 minus 190. I do think it's live to go over 1.5. Engage in a back and forth. Like I'm thinking back to when was the last Luque master class against anybody notable? Tyron Woodley, Darce choke. I mean, he was looking like a killer back in 2021. He was on a roll. Jeff Neal crumbled him bad. Buckley crumbled him bad. And the wins are old man RDA and Themba Gorimbo, who's just not it as a prospect. I think Kevin Holland, I think he pulls through. He mixed it up well. I mean, he still went 3 hard against Jack Della, 3 hard against Michael Venom Page. It becomes easy to overlook Kevin Holland at times. But now, after seeing the Gunnar Nelson performance, I think at 170, he's like right at that top 15 mark. And I think against Vicente Luque, he can land some dangerous punches. And I think he can avoid Luque's heavy kicks and even some of Luque's submission threats. I don't see Holland getting nabbed up in a sub, shooting some takedown. We'll go Kevin Holland for the W. More athletic, more explosive, a little bit longer, a lot longer. And I think more speed too. Holland, feeling like later stage KO is live, but a Holland W nonetheless. Next fight on the card, feature fight of the night. Got the welterweight, got the middleweight savages going. It should be welterweight. I'm seeing Kelvin Gastelum, and I'm thinking to myself, welterweight division, bro. We got to get him back down. Kelvin Gastelum versus Joe Pyfer. I picked Joe Pyfer last time. I was more worried about it in Mexico City. I'm a lot less worried about it now. Fighting in New Jersey? Oh, Pyfer's what? Hour away over in Philly? Quick drive? This is a Joe Pyfer fight. Kelvin Gastelum has definitely shown signs of, I don't want to say not fully committing to the game, but not having it anymore. He's another guy. He's young, 33. So it's like the Luque situation. It's like, I hate seeing a guy only 33 and saying he's past it, but he's been in the game for so fucking long. So many fights, man. And he hasn't looked great in recent fights. I mean, his most recent fight, I give him respect beating D-Rod. But it was a fuck situation. It was supposed to be a 170, and they move it up to 85, and he kind of just wrestle fucks D-Rod. Fight before that, Sean Brady destroyed him on the ground and submitted him. I think Joe Pyfer with his size could out-grapple an aging Kelvin Gastelum. Oh, aging. Fucking 33. Past his prime, Kelvin Gastelum is the right way to say it. I think Joe Pyfer could outstrike Kelvin Gastelum. I think he's got faster hands at this point. I think his boxing is pretty smooth, but his jiu-jitsu / grappling game overall, Joe Pyfer is pretty legit in all areas. The biggest thing is, though, Gastelum still got that motherfucking blockhead. The dude has been absorbing crazy amounts of damage for his whole career and just walking through it. I don't think the chin's going in this fight. Though Joe Pyfer, supposedly hardest punch in the world, I don't buy it. But he does hit hard for sure. As far as middleweights go, one of the heavier punchers. I don't think he's knocking Gastelum out, though. I think he could land some big punches and Gastelum eats them. I think Joe Pyfer can win the grappling battle and end up on top, especially seeing the Sean Brady performance. Obviously, he's got to be like, okay, my boy dominated him here. He's a welterweight. I'm a full-fledged middleweight. If I get to, the clinch, I'm going to be able to drag him down. And I think Joe Pyfer puts together a good performance. He could get a little overzealous. The worry with Joe Pyfer, and I'll keep it real, is he gets overzealous for the KO because I'm sure he wants to be the first guy to chin Gastelum. Overzealous for the knockout's a recipe for disaster against Kelvin. Overzealous for the knockout can get you caught tired in round 3. Gastelum never chinned, man. Wanted to make sure. I knew for a fact he wasn't chin. I was thinking of Adesanya dropping him years ago. But I do think Joe Pyfer is still a pretty good prospect. The knockout of Marc-Andre Barrios demands fucking big respect, as I was sick. Even the loss to Hermanson, he still won early rounds. And I think a tactical and technical, hard-fought 3-round win. I think Joe Pyfer is getting his hand raised. Not easy fight against Kelvin Gastelum, regardless of Gastelum, should be fighting at 170. He's still a skillful guy. But I think Joe Pyfer can do enough to win, especially if he threatens with grappling. You could land some big shots. I think he's faster with his boxing. He's got heavier hands. But the blockhead of Gastelum keeps him alive. And I'll say Joe Pyfer, decision win, I lean towards. But maybe a submission. That's not a bad strategy, man. Look for the sub in this type of fight. Minus 365, Joe Pyfer is a massive favorite. Plus 290 for Kelvin Gastelum. The pick is Joe Pyfer. Sticking with the call that I made when they were supposed to fight in Mexico City. Over 2.5, minus 120. The submission threat is more live than the knockout for Pyfer. I think Pyfer wins. If he subbed up Kelvin Gastelum, I wouldn't be shocked. We've seen how many sub wins for Pyfer. 3 sub wins, but he competes in grappling. He competes, beat GM3. Granted, it was on the ground with big shots. When you look at him going distance with Eric Anderson grappling, you think he's something, he probably ain't submitting Kelvin Gastelum. I'll say Pyfer by a decision. That's going to be the official prediction. I think Pyfer can out-grapple Gastelum, but I think it'll be hard-pressed for him to lock up a sub. And then as far as striking goes, I think Pyfer a bit faster. As long as he doesn't get overzealous, he shouldn't get caught by anything crazy. But if he does throw his loadout, if we were in Mexico City, I'd be more worried about him throwing his loadout in round 1, round 2, and then round 3, Gastelum catching him with a thunderous straight or something. But I'll say that Joe Pyfer, explosive, more calculated than ever before, and well-versed, should win against an OG Savage and Kelvin Gastelum. We're going with body bags, Pyfer. Next fight brings us to our co-main event. We got the women's bantamweight championship on the line. We got Julianna Peña versus Kayla Harrison. I'm picking Kayla Harrison to win against Julianna Peña. And you kind of have to look at Kayla's last win as aging really well, because she looked pretty dominant against Ketlen Vieira, and then Ketlen Vieira just looked pretty dominant against Macy Chiasson, who was on a 2-fight win streak. I think Kayla Harrison's too good for Julianna Peña. As much as Peña's a dog, for sure, Julianna Peña has grit, toughness, ability to strike in a brawling manner and throw some crazy punches out there. But as far as the technical aspects of the striking, that's not a bread and butter. She's a brawler as far as stand up goes. But I think that Harrison's game plan is not going to be to strike. I mean, she's going to have a big advantage as far as takedown threats and just physical strength and control from top position. Kayla Harrison is like a one of one women's athlete. She's jacked. She's jacked. She's strong as an ox. She does cut a shitload of weight, though, to get to 136 recently. Now she got to get to 135. The worry about Kayla Harrison is weight class. But she drains herself down to get to 135. But if she's able to make the weight, she shows up healthy, and it's the Kayla Harrison we've gotten against Ketlin Vieira or Holly Holm, she's going to beat Julianna Peña. You can out-grapple Julianna Peña. Much as Peña has decent grappling skills in her own right, Kayla Harrison has such a physicality edge, and she's just so much better from top position. I see Peña stuck under a Kayla Harrison. Harrison beating her up with ground and pound. I feel like Julianna Peña is definitely not quitting in this fight, but it wouldn't be nuts if we saw Kayla Harrison find a way to submit Julianna or finish her on the ground with big shots, especially because I feel like the tension between the two ladies, it's like Kayla's going to want to be punching Julianna Peña hard in the face. She's not going to just be looking to be technical. She's looking to beat her up. As far as the striking arsenal goes, I feel like Kayla Harrison is sound enough in kickboxing. I think she could do fine striking-wise with Julianna Peña. Got a decent hook, actually. She's got solid enough leg kick. She's very jacked, like broad build. Uses the striking more to engage in the clinch work. Obviously, the judo-based gold medalist, the threat of throws. Julianna Peña is clunky, but she definitely can box in an awkward fashion. She's got a grit factor to her where she doesn't ever quit. I mean, we saw it against Amanda Nunes. We've seen it. The Raquel Pennington fight, people felt like she should have lost. Close decision. She ended up getting it. Still gritty, all five. I think Kayla Harrison neutralizes Julianna Peña, which, like, what is the biggest threat that Julianna brings to the fight? Is it a comeback knockout? Is it a sub? It's probably catching Kayla Harrison with a big shot when she's tired. That's probably the best chance for Julianna Peña. But with full stamina and full go-ahead from Rip, I think Kayla's getting Julianna down. I think she's controlling her on the ground, beating her up a bit. I think Julianna will look to throw big strikes, but I think Kayla will also have moments landing strikes of her own. I just got this feeling it's going to be a violent ladies fight. I don't know why. I don't feel like there's going to be a boring women's fight. I think this is going to be like a bite down on the mouthpiece. It's a dog fight type of ladies matchup because I think a ton's at stake here too. The winner of this fight is probably fighting Amanda Nunes next. And obviously Kayla Harrison salivating at the bit for that chance. Julianna Peña salivating at the bit for the trilogy. But I'll say Kayla Harrison neutralizes Julianna Peña. I think she wins a decision, but maybe a finish though. Submission and her ground and pound is speaking to me here. I mean, if you look at Kayla Harrison's resume, she does have 7 submission wins. Does she get her out of there, man? Does she finish her off? A lot of wins against bums, but these are legit W's. I'm thinking 5 hard rounds. Julianna Peña doesn't quit on herself. Kayla Harrison gets caught with some big shots later in the fight when she's tired, but I do think she'll win this fight. I'm picking Kayla Harrison to pull it off, and it's another fight on this card that like gets ruined by like crazy wide betting odds where you think, oh, it's just a guarantee. I mean, shit, they still got to do the fucking fight. The odds are crazy wide though. Kayla Harrison is a minus 600 favorite, guys. There's no fun with the odds, but it's not a surprise. You got elite level judo, very strong grappling. She's physically stronger, and I would say even technically sound more so than Julianna Peña. It's just Peña's a savage. She's a dog. Like, but when all you can say about somebody in a certain match, oh, they're a dog, though. They're a dog. Okay. Is Kayla Harrison just going to wilt over after she gets punched in the face a couple times? Is she going to give up if she's got Julianna Peña in side control bottom position when she's passing to crucifix and throwing thunderous ground and pound? No. Peña's plus 425. Harrison should win. It's more of like a how she wins factor. The over is plus 125. Harrison by ground and pound or submission sounds nice. It just sounds so much better than picking decision. It's a ladies fight that could be violent, man. Harrison locks up the choke, puts her out. But it's like, there's this sub loss against D Random. That's 4 years ago. But this so much grit to Julianna Peña. It's like I feel disrespectful saying that Kayla's going to finish her on the ground when it's not like we've seen that with Julianna. We've seen her get up from big shots against Amanda Nunes and just never quit. But yeah, Kayla Harrison should pull through. Late finish is a possibility, or even midway through the fight finish if she really gets to a dominant grappling position. But I think Peña's grit factor keeps her in the fight. And I'll say Kayla Harrison probably touched up, maybe more so than ever in round number 5. But Kayla Harrison wins the fight and becomes the new champion with a pretty handily's the word for it. She handles it pretty clear and relatively dominant decision as she handles Julianna Peña. We're going Kayla Harrison for the win. Let's jump to the main event of the evening. If you guys haven't yet, make sure you smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. If you guys been watching the live streams last week, you knew the side I was leaning toward. I'm picking Sean O'Malley because I really believe we're going to see a better version of him. And I can see why people will be like, bro, but look at Merab's takedowns. Hold on a second. I went back and I did watch Sean O'Malley in the first fight. And I felt like he looked uncharacteristically gun shy and lacking more explosiveness than I've ever seen before. You say, oh, well, it's because of Merab's wrestling threat. I feel like it was something else. Like, even when they were engaging and striking, he was more lackadaisical than I have ever seen. Sean O'Malley, I'm not saying the injury excuse is so valid. Talk about torn labrum in his hip, but let's throw that out the window. I've been paying attention to Sean O'Malley on social media. I see he's in the best physical condition of his career. I know for a fact when a man hits 30 years old, they reach their true prime. He's had a lot of time to digest, sit on, and take that last result and think about it. And he also has had a fight to watch Merab. Merab getting outgunned by Umar early in the fight from distance. And then just bringing relentless pressure wrestling to him and eventually winning a hard-fought back-and-forth decision. But I think Sean O'Malley could be tactical in this fight, too, from long range. I think he could land some nasty teeps. I think Sean O'Malley could catch Merab with good straights. If he's willing to commit in the striking, as I'm anticipating he's going to, I think there's going to be much more of a danger factor from the side of O'Malley to Merab than their first fight. It's like people are forgetting that Merab's been cracked. It's like, oh, he's reached this new high. He's just unbeatable. We've seen Merab cracked before. Yeah, he's always overcome it. He's always overcome it, fought his way back and won. Of course. Of course. Merab's on a fucking roll right now. I'm not discrediting the dominance he's put towards the division, but I also don't think he's perfect. I think Sean O'Malley can land strikes in this fight, especially straights, including straight punches and teeps to the body. Staying on his bicycle in a sense, but at some point he's going to have to hold ground and defend some takedowns from Merab. And I think optimally, if he can put a bit of pressure on Merab and push Merab's, bullying style to the other direction, pushing the bully backwards, I think Sean O'Malley will have more striking success. It's just really going to come down to what happens when Merab shoots those first couple takedowns. If Sean O'Malley is down on his ass early in round 1, the odds of him winning diminish substantially. But if he's defending these takedowns, using good clinch defense and facing Merab, separating from the clinch, letting punch combinations go, he's going to look good on the feet then. His strike speed will definitely be an advantage. He's the better striker than Merab, even though in the first fight, it didn't necessarily look like it because he was completely shell-shocked by the takedown threat. But he knows what's coming now. It's not like Merab is coming with a new game plan. Pressure, control, threaten takedown, land takedown, and then engage in striking as you have your opponent horrified of getting taken down by you. I think O'Malley's get-up game is going to be better. I think his takedown defense is going to be better. I think his striking offensive output will be higher in this fight, and you will see more of a willingness to commit to landing shots. Now, I'm not saying this is a walk in the park for Sean O'Malley. I'm not saying he's knocking Merab out in one punch. I think he's going to get tested. But I think he has some big moments here against Merab. And I think he's going to sneak by with a competitive and hard-fought back-and-forth decision win. And maybe even one that after the fight, Merab's not willing to accept. No, I feel like I beat him. I feel I was robbed. I think O'Malley wins a close fight. I think it's a better fight for Sean O'Malley by far than the last time. I think he adapts to Merab's style better this time. I think his striking is more effective this time. I think his grappling defense is better this time. But I will tell you, I think at some point he's definitely taken down. It's not super early. If he can land some shots in round one, if he can steal the first round, if he can steal the third round, if he can win the fifth round, if he can get by in these key moments, I really feel like that first round is like the tell-all. Set the fucking pace. If he can stand his ground come round one, things could change going throughout this entire fight. He's got a big length advantage. And if he's able to fend off the takedowns, or if he is taken down, if he's able to burst back up to his feet, record time, or at least better time than last time, and he's not just laying on his back, trying to play jujitsu from the bottom, he's exploding back up, channeling a little Jack Della Maddalena in his style. I think Sean O'Malley could have the best performance of his career, and I think he could pull off a massive upset against a man that took the belt from him. I don't think it's over for O'Malley. He was 29 years old defending that title. Became a champion before 30. Now he's 30 years old. He's had some time to reset, reassess his life, stop smoking the ganja. No more CBD lying for him. Save it for me, bro. He's not partying. He's not doing the social media thing nearly as frequently. He's focused on becoming the best in the world and really giving his soul to the game. I think it humbled him, man. And I think Sean O'Malley is going to come out there and put a decent performance on. I've always felt like he was hyper talented with the special ability to strike from long range, especially, but just his reflexes and timing in general is a crazy ability that not many guys can ever get to. But it's more so the worry is, okay, the takedown defense, though. If he's dialed in on the get-up game, he's dialed in on the wrestling defense, I think that Sean O'Malley can pull off the shock in the main event. And I've been feeling this since last week. And I think I got good evidence to back it up. If we get the O'Malley that I think he claims to be now, this new look O'Malley, this 2.0 O'Malley, this dialed in O'Malley, full-time fighter O'Malley, I think he wins a close fight against Merab, gets it on the scorecards. He might even force a damn trilogy. I don't know. Maybe they move on with Umar. But either way, it's going to be a wild circumstance for the UFC. I think O'Malley's pulling through in New Jersey. I just got the feeling in the air. That Jersey air, gonna smell it. We're in America, baby. Even though, Rob's a New York guy, to be fair. I think Sean O'Malley's getting his hand raised. Savage mode USA, I guess. I'm going O'Malley close decision. I'm seeing like 48-47. I'm feeling like first, third, fifth. I'm going way Mystic Mac with it. But I see plus 235, and I think to myself, no. Last time out, even money. Yeah, minus 175. Minus 175, minus 275. We open at minus 300. No love for O'Malley at all. Odds are crazy here. I get it. Merab's an absolute demon as far as his wrestling goes. But O'Malley's seen it once before, and I think he comes better prepared this time. And I think it's going to be a competitive decision. And I'm telling you, I think Merab is going to be pissed off. And I think after the fight, Merab says, no. I did not lose. Then maybe it forces a trilogy. Over minus 285, over 4.5. Pretty likely at minus 285, I would say. Nice if there was a sick knockout, O'Malley high kick, but odds are low of something like that. Probably be a straight, if anything. I'm going to say we get a competitive decision. Sean O'Malley wins. Definitely that Sean O'Malley spread is something to look at if you're on the betting side too. And you're like, yo, I don't know if I want to go money line. But if you think he makes it close, that spread's live. I think he's going to win the fight. I've been feeling this. I can't not see it. Maybe I'm wilding out, bro. So many streams got me going chaotic and crazy. Shout out to the bum drink. Let me take a sip for good luck to finish. But I believe in O'Malley in a close fight. Sneaking by on the scorecards. Maybe a split. Some may say controversial, but I think he'll do a bit more damage in the striking and negate some of Merab's wrestling attack, enough so to win rounds, and I think he's getting it done. Sean O'Malley for the upset, and once again in the main event, is going to be the pick for UFC 316. Those are the predictions for the full card. I feel like I'm Mr. Controversy right now. Definitely let me know in the comments what you guys think of the picks. I'm curious if there is any bit of a substantial amount of the community that is seeing what I'm seeing, that O'Malley's got a live chance to pull this one out. So definitely let me know in the comments who you got in the main event especially. But throughout the whole card, let me know what you thought of the picks. I want to hear what you guys are thinking. I love you all. Thank you guys for 48,000. Badass pay-per-view on the way. Is it a badass pay-per-view? It's a solid pay-per-view. I'll be honest, any card is badass after UFC Vegas 107, all right? I'm looking forward to the UFC getting past this all-time low and getting back to a new high. I think June is the month for it. So thank you all for watching. Hit that like button on your way out. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Make sure you hit subscribe, turn the post notifications on, and yeah, share the video too if you really enjoyed. Besides, let me know what you think in the comments. If you got nothing to say, W in the comments to boost the algorithm for your boy. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you on the next one. Much love. Peace out.